Welcome to your world of stress-free rental solutions. When you work with Renters Paradise, your professional landlords, your peace of mind is assured. Whether you're renting out, looking to rent, buying or selling a property, just give us a call on 055 195 5366 or 055 195 4406. Renters Paradise, your peace of mind assured.
Hello, welcome to Africa Let's Talk. My name is Collins Kofi Opon. You can always call me Mr. Beyond. Tonight, we are having conversation, or I should say I'm actually engaging with two authors of the insightful and of course the much talked about book that is called Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. Since the announcement of the book, I should say that there has been amazing buzz and of course euphoria around the book. And we here at African Let's Talk are excited to actually speak to these two amazing women who are behind it all. But first, we would learn about their bio so that you get to know the very people that we're going to talk on this program. The first I would say is Madam or Mrs. Cato Andah. She is a psychotherapist and transformational speaker. She's also the author of the best-selling book, Reflections of a Hope Monger, and the host of the Hope Monger podcast. A passionate mental health advocate, she calls herself the Hope Monger, stating, My heart's cry is to promote mental, emotional, and spiritual health by educating, inspiring, and of course, ultimately elevating people to harness the amazing power of hope in their lives. Madam Abba is a wife, a mother, and a grandmother, and she lives in Central Florida, USA, with her family. Thank you very much, Madam Abba, for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
The next person, of course, my guest, who is also the co-author of the book that I just talked about, that is Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. She is ZoeBaraka. Yes, indeed. Let's get her on right now so that we can learn about her. She is a psychologist. She is better known under the name nom de plume and screen name ZoeBaraka, but her real name is Baraka Akom. She's a trained journalist and filmmaker who has worked on some award-winning documentaries and television series, both in Ghana and in the United States of America. Her passion is creating personal African stories in any form. And of course, she's fascinated by the invisible hand that draws and redirects the trajectory of destinies, and believes that Africans actually tell and listen to stories innately because our stories actually connect us. She is the host of the acclaimed weekly show To My Younger Self, where guests from all over the world, and especially Africa, are asked to share stories or personal stories and speak to their younger self. Of course, ZoeBaraka lives in the United States at the time of writing, but bitten by the bag of an insatiable wanderlust. You never know where her America could be next. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my guests for today, who are the authors of the amazing book that much talked about, Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. Is there anything I left out in your introduction?
It was perfect. Yes, you did it all. Thank you.
All right. If you joined the conversation, please do me a favor, share the video. Let's connect people to this conversation, because this could be the hope you need. This could be something that will connect you to your younger self, especially because we are speaking to these amazing women right here on Africa Let's Talk. Of course, the first thing that we'd like to do whilst we delve into this conversation is to provide an overview. Any of you can do that, of the book, which is The Letters of Hope to My Younger Self, and what actually inspired you to compile this collection of letters. What is this book all about?
Zoe, you want to go?
I think you should go. You go.
So you asked two questions. What inspired us? Let me start there. And let me just say again, it's an honor to be here. We've admired the work you do, and we don't take it lightly. You've given us this platform to talk about our work. So this book actually sprung like a well that springs from several spots. And I believe that its time had come in our lives. As you know, I'm an author prior to this book of a book called Reflections of a Hope Monger. And my platform has been hope, the power of hope, right, in building resilience for a better tomorrow. So when I wrote the book, I had the opportunity to go on Zoe's show, To My Younger Self. And we had such great chemistry that we began to work together some more. And in actual fact, we formed a group called the Hope Family. And we began to do a series of shows called Brewing Hope, where we would take a topic and talk about it, whether it was depression in women, or depression in the holidays. We would talk about it, real talk. And we had 6 people in that group. So there was Zoe, there was myself, there was Marjorie Boafo-Appiah, who is our publisher. There was Amma Duncan, Elsie Dixon, and Elikem Aflakwi. So we would have these conversations. And then this one particular day, we started talking, and Zoe spoke about she had a dream of doing a book kind of like this. And then I actually ended up saying, years ago, for me, back in 2007, my husband and I had a dream of doing a similar book. Anyway, so we had that conversation and left it there. And then a few months later, Zoe called me and said, hey, sis, you have this dream. I have a dream. Our platforms are kind of similar. Why don't we collaborate? And I didn't have to think about it because, I just had that inner witness. And I knew that the time had come. So, I'm about hope. Zoe talks about, share stories to my younger self. And so we said, why don't we just combine it? So our working title for the book was Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. But then as time went on, we're like, there's no better title than that.
Indeed.
So what the book is about, and I can go into, do you want me to go into it into detail right now or in a little bit?
No, if you can give like a snapshot of what the book is about, please.
Right. We basically recruited 39 successful people. And I can talk a little bit about what our criteria was for success. And we said
we'll go into that very soon. For sure.
Yes, sir. We said to them, think about a time in your life, in your younger life, when you went through something. Knowing now what you know about life, write a letter to yourself to encourage yourself. Wow. So we had these 39 amazing, 39 amazing interviews. And then we interviewed them, after that. So they wrote most of them, there were 3, I think, where we interviewed them and they didn't write letters. But the rest of them, they wrote letters. Then they came in, we interviewed them, and then put together a synopsis about them, plus their letter, and that was a chapter. So it was a lot of work.
Wow.
For 40 hours, of course, the conversations we had with them, we said, give us 20 minutes. We ended up spending an hour on average with each person, So we had these amazing conversations, these amazing letters. And then it was our job to then, based on our conversations with them, to mine more information about them and what they stood for in writing an introduction. So I hope that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. No, it makes absolute sense. Because for me, and what I think about it, mostly when people write a book, maybe it's just per their own experience. So one person sharing their experiences. But here we are having the wealth of 39 people sharing their experiences, of course, writing a letter to their younger self. If you just joined the conversation, this is African Let's Talk. My name is Collins Kofi-Opon. We're having a conversation indeed by the most and the much talked about book, Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. And of course, I'm very privileged to have with me on the program the authors of actually the book, and that is what we're talking about right about now. So if you have any questions, any contribution, if you have bought the book, you have started reading it, tell us about it. if you are yet to buy the book, tell us about it. And of course, we want to learn more. As we get into it, of course, I want to come to you, Zoe. What was the process of selecting the 39 individuals? Of course, I know Madam Abba mentioned briefly about it, but if you can tell us the process of selecting these 39 individuals to interview and also gather the letters from, and were there any particular criteria you used to choose these contributors?
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having us on the show. Abba and I are very excited. I think you are our maybe second point of call, so that's very exciting. You're very, very high on our list, so we're very excited to be here. The criteria was, well, first of all, Abba and I got together on Zoom, I believe, and we drew up a wish list, right? We had flamboyant dreams. We just kept mentioning names. Some of them we knew personally, some of them we didn't know. Some of them were quite unreachable in one way or another, but we just put all these people in a bucket. And we said, okay, what are we going to do? Thank God for Abba, because she has a mind that is very structured. We'll do this, we'll do this. So first we said, well, for those that we don't know, we will reach out to people we know that know them, and then we'll go that route. So we did a little research, found their numbers, their emails. For some, we found the emails online. We didn't know if it will go through or not. It didn't matter. We found some emails and we sat down and we drafted a letter. And the letter was essentially introducing ourselves and what the dream was, what we're trying to do. We're saying we're doing this project, it's a legacy project. We'd like you to come along with us and be one of the contributors. And then we gave them some parameters. It's going to be 400 words. You're going to write a letter to your younger self. We want you to pick a particular time in your life where you were probably going through some kind of a challenge and then address that younger self. With the hindsight now, this benefit of you grown up, what would you tell that younger self? What is that person supposed to expect? Because ultimately what happens is that whether we like it or not, we are in all of our younger selves in our present state. So we get to pick and choose which younger self shows up depending on the situation we find ourselves in. And so we did that. The criteria with which we chose them, first of all, it was just people we knew. But Abba had said that she was going to define what we defined as success. Now, what we defined as success wasn't your typical, oh, that person is a successful person, in that it wasn't material success. I mean, that in itself is a good thing. So it's not that the person has, a big house and a big car and is living large, like people would say. It was Indeed. People who are, in our opinion and in our eyes, were living their chosen purpose in life. They were successful in it. They were continually living in that purpose. Some of them are still living through the stories that we have seen them struggle with years ago, and they're still successfully living through those situations. So that's how we defined the term success. These were individuals who knew exactly what they were doing and they were going for it. And we could see that sometimes they would encounter challenges, but they kept going because they knew what purpose meant, right? So that was the main criteria that we chose them. It just so happened that almost everyone that said yes, because Abba and I, we thought, well, if we get 15 people, we'll be good, right? And we may have sent out letters to maybe 60 people. Our expectation is to probably get back 15 yeses. We got way more than that, as you can tell. We got way more than that. And at some point, I had to put a hard stop. I said, no, I'm not admitting any more, no more. No more, because if I had left Abba to go on, we would have kept going on and on and on. It just so happened that because I'm Ghanaian and she's Ghanaian, we just ended up with almost everyone being Ghanaian because we generally pulled from our friend circle and our network circle. So we did send out invites to a few other non-Ghanaians. We didn't get responses back. But that was okay because it allowed us to create that legacy platform that we're trying to create, not only for Ghana, but ultimately for Africa.
And it's going to happen. And from what I see, I mean, the success of this will indeed draw on with for others to actually come on board. I'm definitely going to hear more about the criteria, of course, as time goes on. But if you join the conversation, please, you are more than welcome to share the conversation. Leave your comments. Nana Aredanwa, of course, another seasoned writer, says, congratulations, Zoe and Auntie Abba. Indeed, we also have another comment come in from Vivienne Yapo Newton. She says, congratulations, Abba. And of course, Zoe, of course, keep the congratulations coming in, because this is a yeoman's work that has been done by these two amazing ladies. Indeed, a letters of hope to my younger self. Of course, at this point, we'd like to actually talk about the letters actually being addressed from these people's younger self and not directed to their future self. I mean, why was it important? Because for life, we know we live life forward. So why, what motivated you to gather these letters addressed to individuals' younger selves rather than their future selves? If you can take that for me, Madam Abba, please.
Sure. Thank you. I mean, it's a great exercise to write to your future self. Writing to your future self allows you to imagine, to visualize, to step into the experience of your dream. And that has been shown to be very effective in helping you achieve your goals. So that would have been a good exercise too. But writing to your younger self also has many, many merits. The first one being, and I think Zoe said it, our younger selves reside inside of us. In actual fact, psychology will show that when we go through things when we are young, parts of ourselves almost separate, right? And therefore, and it's not in a crazy kind of, oh, I'm a crazy, look, different parts of me. No,
not multiple personality.
Not that. Ourselves separate. And so then what happens is that our lives follow these patterns. I'm a therapist, a psychotherapist, and what I'm trained to do is to identify the patterns in somebody's life. Now, why do our lives follow patterns? It's because you're going to keep making the same mistakes until you learn the lesson, and then you can move on. And so you realize, for example, and this is just as an aside, I knew somebody who, by the circumstances of her birth, she felt less than. And so what she would do is bend over backwards to help everybody else. And even though this was my mother's friend, I was a child, I used to remember every conversation. I helped this person. I did this. They didn't do it back to me. And I remember for years and years and years hearing that the core of it was that in her younger self, there was a brokenness. She felt less than. Until that thing is healed, she's going to go on in life, bending over backwards to, help people and not seeing people do reciprocate and feeling sad. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So that's where the power of the younger self comes in, because the lessons learned are what actually set you up for life. And so we said to your younger self, what we found too was that the younger selves that emerged for most people when they were doing this exercise was at the cusp of their greatness. They had gone through failure. They had faced obstacles. They had faced sickness, things that would have been barriers to their greatness. And so in breaking through, it propelled them to where we see, to the people we see today. So that's the powerful thing. And what's interesting is that one of our, contributors, her name is Lucy Quist, and I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this. She sent us a message.
Yeah, I love her. She's amazing, yeah.
The other day, she said, she read her letter again, and it encouraged her. So whatever she was, dealing with in her life today, her letter from then encouraged her. So the truth is that the lessons of the younger self, honestly, are lessons for today that will propel us into tomorrow.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
If you would allow me to tag on just a little bit,
please do.
Thank you. The truth of the matter is, you cannot know where you're going if you're not sure where you come from.
Yes.
That unfortunately has been the African story. Even though history has taught us some of the things that we maybe know or do not know, our history is not so coherent, and that's why Africa seems to be struggling, because we have not consistently told our personal stories. Other people have told our stories, but we haven't told our personal stories.
Our
If you're
personal
charting a court, if you're charting a path, there's a saying in tree, and my tree is not very, very good. But if you're drawing a straight line behind you, you don't even know how crooked it is. So if you're going towards the future, you might still be charting a very crooked path. And that is why we figured, of course, we can propel into the future and forecast into the future. The point, though, is this: you're not in the future yet. The guarantee that you might actually get into the future is, it's not assured, but you've already lived your past. You've already lived your younger self. They're all inside of you. And to be able to inform that future that you want, that you dream of, because it's in the future, there's still hope. In order to be able to do that, in order to be able to forecast, you must look back and be able to say, where did I come from? Why am I here now? Where am I going to go from here? So it's a 3-step thing. And so it looks like we've just hit on the very first part of it. And there is just so much more to do going forward.
Yes, and I want to say something. During our launch, the reverend who prayed, he gave this powerful quote. He said this: "A man with experience is never at the mercy of a man with an opinion."
Yes.
So there's a power in lived experience. There's a power in not just for your own self, but for other people who will read as well.
Yes.
It's one thing for me to tell you 1 + 1 = 2. It's another thing to say, when I had one of this and one of this and this happened, I got 2. You're going to remember the experience. There's something about sharing our stories, about personal stories. When we share data and information, we're just hitting people with it. When we share stories, their spirits, their minds open up to receive.
Their eyes are open. Yeah.
Wow.
And
No, this is great. This is great. Actually, now I have more of a motivation to actually write a letter to my younger self. And I think listening to this conversation, I realized that most of the time we've actually run away of these experiences that we had in the past. We've not had the courage to face them. So I think this is a good exercise, beginning the process of healing, not just for individuals, but for the community and for families, that if we are able to really sit down, reflect on the past, and write that letter to ourselves, it begins the process of a great healing. And I think actually thinking to myself now, because there are actually a lot of things that I find myself repeating in my cycle of life. And it's also because probably having confronted what happened.
That is it. Unless you confront, was it which philosopher said the unexamined life is not worth living?
Yeah.
So your youngest allows you to examine your life, examine what you've been through, examine your motivations, your thoughts, your heads, encourage yourself, because that person is still inside of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And here's, just to add on to it though, here's the thing. It doesn't even matter what religious faction you ascribe to. All of the religious factions, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, all of them, actually, we are all living based on the past lives of others. If you grab the Bible, it really is an anthology of letters of younger selves
and experiences. It's true.
Experience. The same goes with the Quran and with the. So we're already doing it, but we're doing it based on other people's lives. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And most of the time, yes, especially for those of us who identify as Christian, it does encourage us. It does give us hope. It does give us faith. But one of the most powerful things in the Bible is when the prodigal son came back, and he said, and the Bible says, when he came to himself, meaning that he had reckoned with something, and he had now begun to, instead of inflecting forward, he was now looking inside. And then he's remembering his childhood experiences and saying, when I was a child, my father's servants are even living better. So he remembered a story. And then based on that, he advised himself. And he says, now for my future, I will do this. And there are many stories like that in the Bible. And there are many stories like that, I'm sure, in the Quran and for other religious and philosophical outputs out there. So that's answer
amazing.
Your question in its entirety.
Yeah,
indeed, that's amazing.
I think also, you see any of us, and all you see is the well put together person.
Yeah.
right? And it's so easy for someone to look at Abba and say, "Oh, she's never been through something." She's
Yeah.
all her
Or he,
life,
yeah.
But the truth is that being able to share that imperfect, gritty story is what will encourage somebody.
Mm.
It's not me looking
Wow.
at this moment.
Mm.
People can connect because they're also going through it. Bible says there's nothing new under the sun.
No.
No.
And so it's important to be able to do that, to take stock so that you can move forward.
Yeah.
Hope
Wow.
is so important.
Mhm.
The pandemic put so many of us into this place of depression or just not feeling very, so much vitality. The economy, the world events, it has us all in a funk. And if you don't take care, you can lose hope in tomorrow. You can just say,
Mm.
put your hands up in futility. What's the point of moving on? So we're hoping to galvanize people of all ages, especially the young.
Especially the young ones. Wow, that's amazing. Once again, this is African Let's Talk. We're having a great conversation, as you can see, and you can attest to it. So please, if you are picking any vibes, any sage of advice from it, please go ahead and share with us in the comments. And of course, we'll be more than happy to read out your comments. Of course, in the meantime, there is a comment from Al Hassan Saad Dagbana. He says, congratulations to you both. Indeed. Thank you very much, Al Hassan. And of course, Sophia Adole Garte says, congratulations, Lady Zoe, and of course, Auntie Abam. So please keep your comments coming in. In the meantime, if you just joined us, so do also share the video so that we can get more people to actually watch it as we go. Of course, each letter in the book, I will say, is unique. I've got a Kindle, actually, which I've glanced through, and I'm going to take the time to read it. But to you ladies, can you share a particularly memorable or touching letter and the impact it's actually personally had on you?
To be honest, it's gonna sound cliche, but to be honest, there is no favorite one. They're all extremely they all touched me personally in different ways. So all of the letters are so powerful and so poignant. I wouldn't necessarily say there was one that I particularly enjoyed like that. I wouldn't say that because I truly did enjoy all of them. One of the things we did when we received the letters was inviting them back to say, let's have an interview with you. So even in those interviews, it was just so powerful, every single person. The one thing Aber and I found out was that most people live with the assumption that people don't like to share their stories, or rather that Africans don't like to share their stories. And I think we've proved that wrong, because every single person that came on absolutely was just ready to talk. And so even though we were very conscious of their time and we were trying to be on, we're like, we'll just want to take just 20 minutes of your time. We know you're very busy, because all these people are very, very busy people. To be able to live your purpose, you will always be busy. And so we were like, just 20 minutes, but consistently every single one of them went past the 20-minute mark, we just kept going. Some of them were an hour and a half, inching on 2 hours, because one story would fold and another would come up, one story would fold. So I don't have a particularly favorite one. But if I had to pick, I would definitely go with Reverend Father Campbell story. He's one of the ones we actually interviewed and then transcribed the entire interview into a form of a conversational type piece. I wouldn't say there was anything particular to it, except for me, he just felt like the title is "Do Something Beautiful for God." There was just this pureness about him that I absolutely enjoyed.
That's amazing.
Well, it's interesting because that story, it's a beautiful one. He talks about living in Ireland, coming to a family that didn't have lots of money, and he called to the priesthood. So he gathered all the things he needed to buy to enter the priesthood, but he didn't have money to buy 3 black cassocks. And nobody had that money. He tells us nobody went beyond primary school. So he was working, but he didn't have the money. So he said, and he had 2 weeks left to enter into seminary. He said to God, do you want me to go? Like, what's this? I don't have the money to buy everything I need. Then one day he just gets a letter addressed to him, right? And basically from an anonymous person, to this day, he doesn't know who, with the 10 pounds. And the person just, asks him, tells him to be a good priest, and tells him pray for the person who donated the money. So from that day to this, he's been a priest for 52 years in Ghana. He came as a missionary priest. Okay, he's kept that letter in his Bible, and because of that, he knows he's supposed to do something beautiful for God. And then, later on, in his later life, he gets very sick. People think he's going to die, but God tells him, "No, your work is not done." I even have goosebumps,
thinking about it. Yeah.
That story. So conviction came. But the problem is that even when he was supposed to be retiring, that younger self who God spoke to, and that miracle happened
again. Yeah.
His life, 52 years later. So,
wow.
So that's, and Zoe is right to pick a powerful story, or to pick a favorite story. It's like asking a mother to pick her favorite child. It should happen, right?
Yeah.
So
No. I mean, indeed, we wanted to just find the one that personally you could resonate with. But thanks for sharing these.
We resonate with all of them, honestly. Everyone
is like bit and pieces from each letter.
It just depends on who's on my mind. So right now, we talked about Lucy Quist. Her story was so powerful too, and she wasn't afraid to share a vulnerable story. And in her story, I believe she was in Form 2, and living with an aunt, and because of financial constraints, had to miss a whole term of school, and sat on there wondering what's going to happen to me.
Wow.
And she shares, how she shares that, of course, she got through it. But listen, now when she's so passionate about saying the bold new normal, where no African child will be left behind, it's because
you understand exactly.
Wow.
And I know this summer when I was, we're editing the essay and so on, one of my nephews who knows her, and knows her children from Ghana, he was with me here, and he read that essay. He said, "Whoa, I didn't know I would have just thought she came from money." So again, to see somebody that caliber, business professional, being able to share that, no, she just like, you and me and other people, she had through her young life.
Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. Indeed. I mean, it's amazing, and I love the fact that they were able to delve into their younger lives, and of course to share their stories, which many of us actually resonate. And it's just that we haven't opened up about stories. But then, like I said, this actually encourages people to write a letter to their younger self. Once again, this is African Let's Talk. We are very privileged to be speaking to the authors of the much talked about the book, Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. We're going to take a quick break, and the break is actually watching a video of all the contributors who actually put the letters together to their younger self. So let's take 2 minutes of our time to watch this video, very inspiring video of their life, and I'm sure you can reconnect with many of them and let them know that, hey, we are actually telling their story right here on African Let's Talk. We'll be right back.
Another 6 o'clock is here. Wake up and meet the morning dear. Brand new day, it's a brand new slate. Like Barack say, yes I can. Don't let the worries of yesterday hold you down on this lovely day. Well, look up in the mirror and say, yes I can. Open your face, open your face. Nothing away, nothing away. Dani mukwala kabo Magana mareke na blow Natengwa we Ubanyo fe Magana mareke na blow Kani mukwala kabo.
Just do it, just do it. Just do it, just do it. Just do it, time is ticking. Just do it, just do it. Tired of lying to yourself, don't you know you are your best bet? Who you waiting for, who you waiting for? You've got all you need more. They will only help when it's convenient. Tell you all of this is for experience. She put no heart in your bond and in your wild head. Just take a step and things will fall in place. Even when time flies, no one can catch it. So don't waste all your regret it. Your time is now, your time is now. Just believe it, say yes I can.
Find your faith,
Find your faith.
not turn one way, not turn one way. Kani mukwala kabo. Magana madagena blow. Not turn one way, not turn one way.
Find your faith, find your faith.
Magana madagena blow. Kani mukwala kabo.
Don't wait, the time will never be just right. Start from where you're standing now. Work with what you have. Work with what you got.
No one said it would be easy. Anyone that ever made it said it wasn't easy. Hey, well, look up in the mirror and say, yes, I can. Go find your faith,
Find your faith.
not turn away, not turn away. Kani mukwala kabo. Magana madagena blow.
All right, welcome back to African Let's Talk. Indeed, that is the video of collections of all the contributors who were part of putting their stories together, or better still, writing a letter of hope to their younger self. And of course, those letters have actually culminated into a book that is called Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. Beverly Rouse says, congrats to you both. God bless. Indeed. Thank you so very much, Beverly,
Hi,
for watching.
Beverly.
Thank you, Beverly.
Awesome. Yeah, I know we are running out of time, but of course, we want to run through a few more questions so that we can actually get to the end of the program. But of course, the book touches on themes of hope, resilience, and of course, personal growth. Can you share some common themes or lessons that emerged from the letters you gathered? So if you can actually briefly share some common themes or lessons that you will say, oh, wow, beyond hope, resilience, and personal growth, these are some of the lessons emerged from these letters.
So I can take that.
Hmm.
Okay,
I wrote
please.
it down. It's only failure when you stop trying.
Mm,
Put yourself first. Love yourself as much as you love others. Hold fast to your convictions. Be authentic. Never give up. Believe in yourself. Have a solid work ethic. There's a hero inside of you. The strength resides in you. Life must be lived purposefully. Life must be lived strategically. Bet on yourself. Take a chance on yourself. Life will have challenges, but it is still beautiful. And this is not even all the themes. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
To say, I mean, I'm a woman in my mid 50s, but you know, every day as we listen to these
Look at
interviews,
your age.
inspired. I was inspired, you know.
Indeed.
I
I like
know.
the part that you said, bet on yourself, because I think we are in a time where all young people mostly are betting on others. Oh, I think he's going to score a goal. I think he's going to do this. I think he's going to win. I think it's about
Yourself.
time we actually look in our own selves.
Absolutely. Write
Wow.
that book. Take a chance on yourself. Reach out to somebody. It's not comfortable, you know. It's not comfortable. That's when you know. It's so funny. And when we had the book launch, somebody said, "Oh, so did anybody, you know, where people? It was some people were difficult to get to some people."
Yeah.
And there was a celebrity that we asked a celebrity we know to reach out to. And this person, you know, said, "Oh, this is a nice thing. Let me read it now and I'll get back to you." But when I texted them again, they blocked me, you know.
Oh, wow.
And it's not even, but you have to not even have, because of the power, we knew something in us knew that this project was powerful. This wasn't the time to get all egoy, you know, get
Yeah. You just move on.
move on. You keep trying. You keep trying. You keep trying. Because this was not a project for the faint-hearted. We had to be
No way.
We had to reach out. We had to ask and ask again and ask your friend to ask them, you know.
Wow.
But once they bought into it, it was amazing. But I will say this, we found that they were so generous with their stories, and we believe, my hypothesis is that one hallmark of a great person is that they want to leave a legacy. It's not just about them.
Indeed.
It's not just about them making money and living in a house and driving a car. They want to leave something behind for their forebears. You know.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We have Rosemary Ortiz. I hope I got the name correct. Says, congratulations. I got my copy. Yay.
Very,
Indeed. Thank you, Rosemary, for getting your copy. And of course, I want to ask you, Zoe, this question about collaborations. Of course, like the two of you didn't know anything about each other. You just happen to host Madam Abba on your show. Then the next thing, you are collaborating on this amazing project that is going places and also is going to change a lot of lives. What do you think about Ghanaian and, of course, the African authors? Should they collaborate more? What do you think about that?
I actually think so. And I've said this many, many times. I always borrow this statement from Marge, who is our publisher. I'm always saying that there's enough room at the top for all of us. We just have to purpose in our hearts to get there together.
Indeed.
Collaboration is important, and it's good for Africans. I've always just made it very succinct. It's good for Africa. And that's why Nkrumah began his political career by saying that the liberation of Ghana is absolutely, and I'm paraphrasing now, is absolutely meaningless if the entire Africa is not free, right? And of course, he got bashed for it. But now, do we have the EU? Yes, we do, because they do realize the power of collaboration, right? Bringing it down to Ghana, yes, it is important that we do collaborate, because, again, I'm always given the example. If Abba had written her sequel to her book, Letters of Hope, Reflections of a Hopemonger, which I always keep here, right? It's a powerful, powerful book. And so, of course, she's going to have a part 2 of it, right? If Abba had done that, and I had gone ahead to say, well, I've interviewed, I don't actually do interviews, but I've had a few people come on my show to share stories. And so I'm going to have all of those people kind of write letters to their younger self, and I compile it. We'll have 2 great books, maybe. But the power and the force with which Abba and I have put these 2 platforms together gives it even more strength, more backing, more buy-in, because people know Abba's platform, and they also know my platform, and they understand the power of the collaboration. The problem with, unfortunately, most Africans is that we want to be the only ones at the top. There is absolutely no reason for it. If Abba can bring me along, why not? And the point is, we should all, it's okay to look inside of yourself and recognize where you are, accept where you are, and understand how you're going to get there. To be honest, with this particular book project, most of the people on there are Abba's networks. Reason being that she's had more experience than I have. Her life trajectory has taken her in a certain direction. And so she has more people in her circles than I do. If I allow pride to be the marker, I would say, no, I'll just go and find my own people. And I probably would come up with another 32, but will it be great? I don't know. The other thing to realize is you should know your strengths and you should know your weaknesses, right?
And it's okay to tap into the experiences of others.
If a person is a creative and is just all over the place, to be honest, believe me, and I know you probably know this as a person that does videos and stuff, we like to have things all over the place. Okay, one camera here, one light here, one this here. Oh my God, I forgot this. You need the person that's also helping you remembering, did you have a checklist? But did you do this? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes as a creative, it gets a little, I'm like, oh my God, I get it. But you need that. The other thing is this, Abba is very, very meticulous and very, we have to do this and that. And sometimes I go, sis, let's let this one go. Because if we do it this way a little bit, It actually gives us freedom to do A, B, C, and D. And she goes, yeah, I get that. So you see how we're playing off of each other.
Indeed.
We had
Indeed.
no problems going, I see my strength, I see my weakness. We had no problem going, this is not a pride thing. I am not going.
No.
Because of that, it's helped us. And maybe it's time that most of us in Africa, most of us in Ghana, put those things into consideration and realizing that the power of going forward together, and the power of, even if we're failing forward together, we're still winning together.
We're still winning together. Wow, thank you. Thank you for that. Madam Abba, please.
Yeah, no, it's so true, because I think when we collaborate, then we're able to harness the best of our strengths, right? And also cover the basis for where we are not strong. I think that's always in a good collaboration. I think a collaboration should be chosen carefully. Like it's like a marriage. Don't just go to it blind.
Please don't do that. Pray on it. Look for it. Yeah.
But for sure, a good collaboration, the result will be better than the two of you individually. So 1 + 1 equals 2. But if you collaborate together, you're going to get
1 + 1 can be 50.
Multiply. Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. That's amazing. Collaboration, and again, a good collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. A good collaboration. Thank you so very much, ladies. I know we are want of time, but let me take a few comments coming in. Of course, Nana Ared Damwa says, so proud of you both, indeed.
Our quintessential bookseller. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, let me chime in real quick. For those of you who don't know, Nana Ared Damwa is the brainchild behind Book Nuke. And so if you're looking for the book, Letters of Hope to My Younger Self in Ghana, of course, you will find it on Book Nuke. Nana Ared Damwa has them. He is the ultimate African bookseller. He does it well. He does it fast. He does it quick. So
indeed.
Jump on it and get that. Big
Such
brother,
a resourceful man. Very, very resourceful to the community. Thank you very much, Nana Damwa. And of course, Anna's Nati says, great work. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank
you. Of course, I know a lot of people are making up their mind to go and buy the book. So let's get to where we actually get information to do that. But before we do that, I know that the book's titles also suggest some sense of optimism and, of course, encouragement. So how do you envision the book serving the source of hope for your readers, first and foremost, in particular to young people who are trying to navigate life's challenges? So if we can get to that, then after that, we will go into the part about how people can actually get this book to buy. So how do we see this book actually being a source of hope to a lot of young people who are really, really trying hard in this trying times?
Real quick?
Yes,
please.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of the things, the person that wrote our forward, everybody's uncle, everybody's incredible Uncle Bendo Chemalo. He on the book, on the day of the launch, one of the first things he said was, I wish I had career guidance when I needed it. And then he proceeds to give us a very little story of how first he wanted to be a pilot, but just didn't even see the way out, didn't even know how it would happen. And if he only was able to see a pilot, anyone who could tell him, here's the path and you can actually achieve it, he probably would have been a pilot. There he is, the incredible, great Bendo Chemalo, and we love him so dearly. And then he also wanted to be a medical doctor, same thing. His English wasn't too good when he was in Catasco, and how he became BBC's journalist is a whole story. How do we see this being as a resource to young adults and to people in schools and things like that? Is for exactly the same reason. The fact that most young adults, the one thing Ghana, and I really do believe even Africa in general, is really lacking is career guidance, is leadership guidance, is older people in positions that are able to say, listen, I see where you are, but you will be better here. I, for example, got very, very lucky. I went to Ghana Institute of Journalism first. I trained to be a journalist, and I thought I was a great writer. An editor in GBC pulled me aside and said, you are a terrible print journalist. You're terrible. You can't do it. You can't hack it. Not only that, a lecturer of mine at GIJ told me the same exact thing. Like, you're a terrible journalist. You won't do well. But then he says, But if you go to NAFTI, you will do well. That literally changed my trajectory. And let me tell you, that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
So it didn't necessarily discourage you, because of course that is going to put a lot of people off about
No, but here's the
being
thing.
told.
It was career guidance, only the Ghanaian way. It was career guidance. They'd seen something in me. It wasn't because I was a terrible writer. It's just that I wasn't able to be as succinct. The who, what, when, why, all those things that journalists need to be very short and precise. I didn't have that because I had more descriptive words. I was more elaborate with my descriptions of an event and things like that. Obviously, I was better at audio and visual, but not in the words itself. You see what I mean? It was career guidance. So what do we see this project as being? We see it as being that, helping young adults going, oh, I didn't know that even if I didn't have this and that, I can go back, retake this and that, and I can still go on to be this doctor, and I can still go on to be that lawyer. And so failure is not the end. It can actually be the beginning. For someone like JBM, Honorable Joyce Bawa Mokhtari, she didn't make the cut for a few subjects, for example. But funny enough, her decision to go back and retake those courses was the beginning of her becoming Joyce. That's when she actually found herself. So do you see like how this is, young adults can see like, oh, okay, Dr. Victor Bampo, okay, I see how this sickness or that ailment or whatever still didn't stop him from being this person. And so because of that, I can. We say in the beginning of the book, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
Indeed.
We want young adults to see all of these giants and be able to say, I can stand on that person's shoulder, and I can stand on that person's shoulder, or I can stand on all of their shoulders because they all have something to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
Yeah, if I can just add something to what,
Yes, please. You can do that. And also, if you can also talk about the long-term impact of the book on the readers, even as you talk about the ones for young readers, please.
Yeah. I think that the book shows different examples, as Zoe pointed out, of you know what, severe, and I'll get it right. I failed. I can regroup and change some things and get it right. I failed, or I'm failing, and I can switch it up altogether and get it right.
Get it right.
That's the beauty of it, and it comes up in so many examples. People who are top of their game, you might never imagine. Dr. Totime, who is a neurosurgeon, internationally renowned neurosurgeon and a writer. He talks about taking his A-level results and having unusable A-level results. Another one, Elikem Queen here, who is a professor, Oxford educated lawyer, and so on. He was failing in science class, and he made a bold decision, and he's the arts. So there's different permutations of people who have realized that this road isn't going well, but I changed. And so we can infuse that. Long term, Zoe and I have realized that long term, it would be great. We see what we've done, the stage we're at now, as we've just birthed the child. And that's a huge, we are grateful to God and so on. But for any parents, the next phase is, how can I raise the child to maximize and achieve their potential? That's where we are now. And so watch this space within the next few months for the Letters of Hope to My Younger Self roadshow, where we can find some of our contributors, motivational speakers, career counselors, and probably have a few dates, in Accra or virtually. We hope to be able to do so.
No, it's amazing. I like the extension of this project and what it's seeking to do, to really reconnect. So beyond reading, to actually hear from these individuals and be impactful to all the people. Of course, at this point, I would like to know how people can get a book to buy. I know there are links that they can actually utilize. But if you are watching us, sorry.
I just posted it in the comments.
Oh, yeah, I saw it, but I actually want to do this right now. If you are watching us, please scan this QR code. Scan it right now. This will lead you to the link, which is the Amazon link, I believe. Yeah, it will lead you to the Amazon link. So please, you can do that right now. If you are yet to buy the book, this will lead you to the Amazon link to buy the book. And surprisingly, it's only $18 for the paper back. I am really surprised. And of course, for the hard copy, it's even less than $30, which is $29.24. So it's really, really, really nicely priced for everyone, for young, for old, for adults, for anyone to buy. So, but all you can do right now for me is to just scan this QR code. Or if you are also on Facebook, you can see the link has been posted into the comment box. Just click the link, either of the links sent by Abba or Zoe, and it will take you right to where you can buy this book from anywhere in the world. So please do that for me. And let's. Is there any other way that people can also buy, especially when they're in Ghana?
Yes. In addition to that, for people in Ghana, there's a link. It's actually a link tree link. When you click on it, you are going to see links for Book Nook and then another
Okay.
bookstore, and they deliver within 24 to 48 hours as well.
Honestly, less
Oh,
than
okay.
that. I mean, these guys are on
People are
point.
getting it in the same day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
No,
it's
that
so
is great.
simple.
That
Just
is great.
click on the link tree link, and it'll take you to a WhatsApp account. You request what you want, they'll call you back and deliver, and yeah, it's so simple.
Wow. It's
So
so simple. And so if they happen to be in Ghana, they will buy in Ghana cities and not necessarily dollars, right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, this is amazing. This is a great conversation. And of course, I know many people have actually learned a lot. Like myself, I said there were many times I've put off things about my past and not having the courage to actually even think about it sometimes. But I am very optimistic and encouraged now to write that letter to my younger self and express as much hope for the life ahead for me. So please, ladies, if you can give us your closing remarks before we let you go.
I'll let Abba take it and then I'll take it. Yeah.
I just want to say a very
Please.
big thank you for having us.
Yes.
And we hope and we pray that everybody who buys this book, who reads this book, will be blessed. And I want to just make a plea to everybody listening. This book was not meant to prop up Zoe and myself in any way. As much fanfare as this book is getting, and the stories are, even just hearing about the story without reading them, it's inspiring. Please, we want to go a step further. We actually want to impact this generation. So everybody listening, don't just buy and read, but also buy for somebody to read, and hopefully it will change their life. And it's not just young people. Old people will read and receive something and to change their lives. Most of us here who are listening from Ghana, from parts of Africa, who went to school back home, we have alma maters. Buy a few copies and go, shelve the libraries of your alma maters, because we want this message to be free and available, that
Wow.
there's hope for a better future. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. My father always used to tell me growing up, it doesn't matter how you start in life, it's how you finish.
Mm,
And so because of that, I always had that notion that, what, I made a mistake. Okay, you fall down 7 times, you get up 8.
absolutely.
You
Wow.
cannot lose our hope. You cannot part a man from his hope, a woman from her hope, a young girl from her hope. And so that's my message. And Zoe, I'll let you continue.
Wow.
Right.
Please, Zoe, go ahead.
Yeah. Real quick. First, I know from Abba and I, we want to really, we can't go in any platform and not say thank you to our contributors. Their belief in us, their ability to invest their time and to give us their stories was unmatched, still is. And we just really appreciate each and every one of them, all 39 of them. We thank them.
Wow.
We also want to thank our mothers posthumously for being who they are or who they were, because because of them we are. So we acknowledge that. And of course, to our fathers who agreed very artistically to be a part of this project. We always have to acknowledge you because you helped us. They helped us to be the women that we are now. So thank you to them for all of that. But lastly, I also wanted to say that once you get the book and you've read it and you've bought it for another person, please leave a review.
Yes.
On Book Nook, leave a review on Amazon, leave a review wherever you got the book, leave a review. Again, Abba is right when she says it's really not for us. It's not because we want to be famous or anything like that. Really, there's a generation out there that needs a lot of help. And this is our way of saying we're putting our hands to the plow and we're putting in our quota. Every adult has to do that. So if you don't have the capacity to write a book now, that's understandable. It's a lot of work. But once somebody else has done it, please help us push it so
Absolutely.
that, you know, the algorithms, the way they work, the more you leave the review, the more they show it to people like you who bought the book. That way we get some traction. That way we get to help more people, especially in Africa. It's very, very important. But hey, this book is not for only Africans. It really is a human interest book, and it's for everybody, to be honest. So that's my piece. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you. And of course, I know, Madam Abba, you wanted to add a comment. Please go ahead.
When we're thanking people, you know, I haven't thanked this person publicly, but my husband.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Uncle Letty.
He did research. He on the edited. He spent so many hours, and
also when I was in Florida, he gave me lunch. And
wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And what's your husband's name again?
He's Dr. Edmond Andah.
Yes.
Dr. Edmond Andah. Dr. Edmond Andah. Dr.
Ian,
congratulations. Thank you so much.
Incredible goals man for sure.
Wow, that is awesome.
Thank you so much.
That is awesome indeed. Once again, congratulations to you ladies, Zoe and of course Madam Abba, for coming up with the book Letters of Hope to My Younger Self, and of course coming on the program to share their story, to share why it's even more important for everyone to really get a book. And like I said, I have got my copy, and I entreat everyone to please do so and learn from these letters, and even be bold enough to write a letter for yourself, addressing or to your younger self. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Truly, truly appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good one. And of course, it's been a great pleasure hosting these amazing ladies to talk about the letter of hope to their younger self. And thanks everybody for joining, and of course for being part of the program. And whilst we've been talking about this, I believe that you are learning something from it. So you can always go on Amazon to please buy yourself a copy, and please buy for others. And most importantly, go to your old schools, buy copies for them so that they can learn and actually gain a lot of experiences from people who have actually lived this path or walked this path, so they don't end up making similar mistakes. Or even if they find themselves in similar challenges, they would know that, oh, it's actually normal. It happens to the best of us. And then they can really be reassured. My name again is Collins Kofi. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Have a great evening.
Another 6 o'clock is here. Wake up and meet the morning dear. Brand new day, it's a brand new slate. Like Barack say, yes I can. Don't let the worries of yesterday hold you down on this lovely day. Well, look up in the mirror and say, yes I can. Open your face, open your face. Natengwa way. Tani mukwala kabo, magana marekena blow. Natengwawe. Ubanyofe. Magana maneke na blowo. Kani mukwala kabo.
Just do it, just do it. Just do it, just do it. Just do it, time is ticking. Just do it, just do it. Tired of lying to yourself. Don't you know you are your best bet? Who you waiting for? Who you waiting for? You've got all you need more. They will only help when it's convenient. Tell you all of this is for experience. She put no honey in your bag and in your wild hair. Just take a step and things will fall in place. Even when time flies, no one can catch it. So don't waste or you'll regret it. Your time is now, your time is now. Just believe and say, yes I can. Ubanyofe. Natengwawe.
Kani mukwala kabo. Magana maneke na blowo. Natengwawe. Ubanyofe. Magana maneke na blowo. Kani mukwala kabo.
Don't wait, the time will never be just right. Start from where you're standing now. Work with what you have. Work with what you got.
No one said it would be easy. Anyone that ever made it said it wasn't easy. Hey, well, look up in the mirror and say, yes, I can.
Ubanyofe.